Hi, it's Lisa. Back at the beginning of the year, I did a series where I took one sketch and I did several layouts with the same sketch, just making some changes to it. And then I did a scrapinar about using a sketch and making modifications to it back in June. And the series have been really popular, so I wanted to do that again. For this sketch, I have two photos. I have sized them here to where you could do 3 by 5 or 4 by 6. I'm going to do a 3.5 by 5 photos for at least the first two that I do. In this, and I've arranged it with some flowers, but of course you could change that embellishment to anything that you wanted. But we have a circle design, a square design, and then we have something around the edge. And also here again you could substitute different things, and we'll be doing that as we work through the sketch. I know I'm going to be doing one a little later on with these two pictures with my cat and a bird, which has its own little funny story to go with it. The first one though that I'm working on today are these two photos of this little darling. She is a member of our extended family, and I don't get to do girl pages very often, so I always have a lot of fun with these, and that's one of the reasons why I drew the flowers on here, because I know I'm going to do flowers. I think I'm going to cut my flowers with the silhouette, and I may use some paper flowers as well. I'm not quite decided yet. The paper collection is Everyday Eclectic. This is an older collection from Alice & Craft for Echo Park. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and they had this as a page kit where you get 12 papers and 2 sets of stickers for the regular price is $10, and then if you have a coupon it's even better than that. So you get a lot of stuff, and I just love these papers. I think they're beautiful colors and patterns, and we're going to pick out a few here to go with these two photos. So I need something for a background. Since I'm going to be doing all this detail here, I think I want to keep my background pretty subtle. So let's see if there's something in here for a background to go with the photos that are predominantly pink with a little bit of yellow and blue in them, or teal color in them. If there's not anything here, I'll browse the rest of my selections and see what I can find. These are a little bit busier papers. This might make a good background. This one on top here. I kind of like that, and I'm going to be covering a lot of it, and I'm not that crazy about what's on the back. So I think that would make a really good background. And then let's see what other papers. We'll need something for the circle, and we'll need something for this area of journaling. And those, unless I put the journaling on a block, those are going to be also need to be a little bit simpler designs. Although I do like this. I like that design a lot. Don't think I'm crazy about the cloud. No, now I'm going to put flowers on there. We'll save that for something else. So just continuing through these papers, I really like this paper. It's a lot busier than I had thought I might use on the page, but the background of one of the photos has a quilt, and since this is a quilt-like pattern, even though it's a hexagon shape, it's just it's really pretty with those photos. I'm still looking for some more neutral, or not neutral, but tone-on-tone kind of papers, things that aren't so busy. Now I've got to make sure that my flowers show up, and if I use that busy background, I don't know for certain that they're going to show up. So that's something I've got to work on. I do think that I will use some papers from a 6x6 pad to cut some flowers in addition to some of these mulberry flowers from either Prima or Petaloo. Just the plain little flowers. So I'm picking out some things here from an old Echo Park pad that I'm going to cut on the silhouette. And I want them to be fairly simple ones. I don't want real elaborate papers. I do know I'm going to need some trims, so I got my pink jar out. I keep all my trims by color. And I don't have as many trims as I used to. I don't make as many cards as I used to. So I still use some on scrapbook pages, but not as much. And with scrapbooking, I don't find I need as much of a trim. I don't need a whole roll of something. So I have a lot of little bits here. I've gone through several of them, and this is the one that I like the best. That little picot trim is really the best color match, and it's a nice width. And I'll have a flower laying on top of it. You won't see tons of it, but you'll have some there. So I'm going to be cutting those down. I'm working on my flowers first and figuring out what arrangement. I've cut a couple of things on the silhouette and mixing that up with some of these other purchased paper flowers and just getting the right shades of blue there. While I had the silhouette out, I went ahead and cut a label. I don't have the story that goes with this. I've done other pages in this subject, but the mother didn't give me the story for this one. I didn't ask. I just thought they were pretty pictures. So I'm going to leave it blank and let her put in her story or whatever. Or maybe she just wants to put her daughter's age and some information about that in the little block, whatever she wants to put in there. Okay, now I need to cut my circle. I still use the Creative Memory circle cutters. I do cut circles, especially if I need multiples on the die cutting system, but for just one-offs I do the Creative Memories ones where I can because it's just handy. I don't know what I'm going to do when my blades finally die. I have an extra set of some of the blades, but the closest one, the red one, I keep running through them and I don't have an extra. Okay, so we do that out of the pink paper, and we'll see how our flowers are showing up. I think they're going to show up pretty well. Not quite as bold as they would have been on a more solid background, but they'll still show up some. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do around the edge here too, because I don't think stitching is going to work. I feel like the photos could use a little bit more to make them pop. They're not bad laying directly on that background, but I just thought they needed to be a little bit bigger, so I added some white paper just to make them a little larger. I had originally cut them down. If I'd left them their original size, they would have been fine. Now again, the sketch has something around the edge, so stitching is not going to work here because it's not going to show up. So I thought I might just layer some paper and trim down this background and then put in that contrasting paper. So I started with white, then I went to yellow, and then I have a blue-green color that pulls out some of the blues in there. I'm just trying out different ones. Then I went to a pink cardstock, and that looks good because I have a lot of pink in there. And I had a pink designer paper that was like a little polka dot paper that was very similar. What I ended up with, though, is the blue. And the reason I like the blue is the pink, if I pull the pink out, it's almost like it dilutes the pink from the middle of the page. And that's what is mostly in the photos and the embellishment. So I really want to leave that pink there. So I decided just to use the blue around the outside. That's just what looked the best to me. And then I use my grid mat and ruler to do most of my gluing down. And sometimes I just eyeball things. Now this block is supposed to go under the photo, but I ended up putting it on top because it would have, the flower I think would have gotten lost there if I didn't have enough blue background behind it. And I like how I have a flower over the ribbon. It's kind of like the little ribbon and thing over her head. I didn't plan that. It just sort of worked out. So we're going to have Baby Girl for our title. And I'm going to use Baby out of the sticker sheet that came with the collection. And Girl is some American Crafts thickers, canvas covered thickers in yellow and white. Sorry about my head. I normally cut that part out, but I missed it this time. Now I'm using some buttons in the middle of my flowers. I haven't done buttons in a while, but I like buttons on children's layouts. I think they work really well. And obviously I have a lot of buttons. Since once upon a time I did a lot of cards and put a lot of buttons on them. It's one of those things I got a little too carried away buying. Now there are some stickers in the this collection, and I want to use a few of these. I love this photo sticker, and I think that's just such a beautiful photo that the mom took. And I've got one there that says smile, and I've got a couple of little hearts in here too that I thought might be pretty as small accents. I don't always remember to do those, but they do add a lot of interest to a page to do those little bitty accents. I did look at this larger one, but it was just too bold, overwhelming. A couple little hearts and we'll be all done. So let's take a look at our sketch. Put this on top instead of underneath the photos, and I went ahead and matted the photos to make them 4x6 and still did my flowers around here, but instead of doing the stitching I did a contrasting paper here. So, and I didn't cut out the middle for this because I have quite a bit of this cardstock, so that gives it a nice sturdy back, and this is a page I'm giving to somebody else, so it looks better to not have to do that. So we'll kind of get some close-ups here, a combination of some flowers cut with the silhouette and some regular paper flowers that I purchased. And it's just a simple page, uses a lot of designer paper product. It goes really well with the photos. I like doing the background paper that matched the quilt in the background. I think that really goes with it a lot. So thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you'll check out my blog and the other videos and products and things that I have available. So I love getting your comments. They're so sweet. I really enjoy reading those. Thank you so much.